Hey, great day. Welcome to the House of Cons. I'm Black Jay. And we popping off on the Thursday, January 25th, 2024. I hope everybody doing well this morning. Whether you're on your way to work, whether you're at work, whether you getting your grind on, whether you're just chilling. Hey, salute Charles Johnson in the house. Tribe up, salute. Everybody go ahead and do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video on all your social media platforms. Share it on your YouTube channel. Share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter. Share it on your Instagram. This information is important. It's about you. It's all about you. And if you want to support the house monetarily, we got the Cash App at the top of the screen. Cash.app/$ House of Cons. Salute, tribe up. We got a good show lined up early this morning for y'all. Get y'all day started off right, heading into the weekend. We on Editing History, part 11. We talking about the Maroons. The Maroons, you know, the people that they was calling escaped slaves. They was claiming they was escaped slaves from Africa. But I got a question. Were the Maroons really even ever slaves at all?
You big dummy.
Or were they just indigenous people living on the land that the colonizer wanted to enslave? Salute, tribe up. We about to talk about it while we're looking at this image from a third eye point of view. This image is by Ramon Pagari. This image is from the late 1800s, I believe about 1888. We'll check it out and see where it came from, but let's just take a look at it from a third eye point of view and see what we see here. I guess these appear to be slaves. They also appear to be so-called black people. You know the serving stuff. They also appear to be so-called Indians. They don't appear to be Africans at all to me, how they're dressed. But somebody will say they're Africans because they're so-called melanated. You know, you got a group of melanated people and a group of melanemic people. Salute Ambush Predator for the bomb drop. Melanated versus melanemic. Ambush Predator say you got some melanemic colonizers in the background, and then you got the Nagas, the melanated peoples, looking like slaves. They're serving. Somebody's on his knees in the background. They're dark skinned. They definitely have nappy hair, but they got on feathers. So some people would say they're Africans because they're dark skinned. Well, if you got your third eye open, those look like American Indians to me. The way they're dressed, I don't care what color they are. The way they're dressed, those look like American Indians, and this paint is definitely in America. Ramon Pagari in the late 1800s. We're gonna talk about it because people seem to get it confused. And I say, Editing History, part 11, Maroons. Were they slaves or were they just indigenous people? Were they ever even slaves at all? Because the story goes that, you know, the colonizers was catching escaped slaves, right? Slave catchers. Oh, the Nagas escaped from slavery from Africa, right? They're supposed to have been catching them, right? That's how the story goes. But I'm asking questions. Were these even ever slaves at all? Were these just Indians on the land that they was capturing? History is documented and tells the story, so we can look into it. It's no problem at all to find out for ourselves. Because some people seem to think that the Maroons was Africans.
You big dummy.
We about to prove them wrong. Tribe up, salute. But yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a deeper look. Before we get into where that thumbnail came from, I want to go somewhere else first. I want to remind everybody of something. Let me slide this over where everybody can see it. Make sure everybody can see this. I'm going to have to shrink it down a little bit. I had blew it up. The last live stream, we was looking at something from a third eye point of view real close. Slide it over a little bit now. All right, everybody should be able to see that. All right. So before we get started and before we get looking into where that thumbnail come from, I know everybody interested. That's a nice thumbnail, right? We're looking at this first. It tells us American Indians were inhabiting the northern mountains in modern times, including the Shuswap and Kootenai of British Columbia, the Core, the Alene, and the Nez Perce of Idaho, and the Flathead of Montana. So let's say this is in modern times. So what about in ancient times? I just need to know, because in ancient times I want to know who was in the mountains. Rocky Mountains, Native tribes. What Native American tribes lived in the mountains? Transcript narrator, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Sioux, the Shoshone, the Mohawk. Okay, so the Blackfoot, huh? What about the Blackface? These are some of these just a few of the tribes that were the earliest inhabitants of the mountain region. In the 1500s, many were displaced from their homeland by Spanish explorers in quest for gold and silver. So you understand, a lot of times the colonizers was coming in, and you know the Indians was living on the beach. Indians living on the on the prairie. Here come the colonizer with the war, right? Indians retreating to the mountains for security. They got cities in the mountains. Some of them already were just living in the mountains and cities because, you know, the mountain is fortified. It's like a fortress up there. You want to go to war, you know, you do it in the mountains like Al Qaeda did, right? Y'all remember Bin Laden was in the mountains and they put the U.S. through hell in the mountains, remember? It's always about the mountains, right? But this is a heritage over in America, though. This is something that was actually done since ancient times. U.S. mountain region, American Indians and settlers, see? We ain't gonna even click on all these. I'm just U.S. mountain region, American Indian settlers, indigenous history and sacred connections to the lands in the mountains, right? Native peoples of the plains, Native Americans' life in the Rocky Mountains, Native Americans in the mountains, Native American Indians, Santa Monica. Native American Indians have lived in the Santa Monica Mountains and surrounding areas for 10,000 years. So okay, so the people in America that's been living in the mountains for thousands of years was the American Indians. I just want to set this foundation because let's not forget, we talking about editing history. Part 11, Maroons, were they slaves or were they just indigenous peoples? Because they always telling us they was slaves. Somehow they escaped slavery. Then they got with the Indians, right? They knew how to speak their language and all, so-called. Then they intermarried with the tribe. Then they hiding amongst the Indians. How can they hide amongst the Indians if they Africans? Unless they the same color, right? So look through the deception. Were they ever even Africans at all? Were they ever even slaves at all? Were the colonizers just going in the mountains looking for Nagas to enslave? Let's talk about it. And we just broke it down that in the mountains, the American Indians, the indigenous people, been there for 10, 15,000 years living in the mountains. All right. So where that thumbnail come from is here, y'all. We on the site. It's BraunTravels.ht. See, I'm gonna show y'all what it is. It say it's not secure, so you can click on it if you want. It's your choice. You know what I'm saying? It's not secure. It might mess up your computer, buddy. Be careful. Blackjack ain't scared though. I got a firewall. And a firearm. Hey, but let's get back to serious business. Jokes aside. So this is where that thumbnail come from. This site here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna scroll down to it, let y'all see what it is. Hold on. There's a lot of images here. A whole lot of interesting images here. And y'all know I be putting research. I know Nagas like to see pictures. Nagas don't like to read a lot. I know Nagas like to read coloring books and shit. Nagas be wanting to see pictures all the time. So I show y'all, you know what I'm saying? But look, you know what I'm saying? We talk about in America and Brazil, right? Let me show y'all some more shit. Let me show y'all where that image come from the thumbnail. Just show y'all it ain't no cap. We gonna be capping over here. House of Cons ain't about no cap, man. House of Cons about everything but cap, bro. You want to see the Naga? You want to see the American Indians? I can show you my Naga. I know where they at, my Naga. You want to see the real deal, my Naga? I can show you all where they at, my Naga. For real. I can show you all where they trying to hide your ancestors. All down the Suriname. The Indians blacker than them. The Indians blacker than all that though. They trying to act like it was on red, man. This junk is hilarious, man, because like they know a lot of people don't know how to find this stuff, and they be lying about history, and they take advantage of people not knowing. Like this, look at that one, y'all. Ooh, look at that one. I bet a lot of people ain't never seen none of these. And I can take my time and pull out each one. Look at that one. Look at the Nagas. Got Nagas walking around, pushing stuff. That Naga booty cheeks out. I got on the loincloth, man. All this history about America, and they thought it was gonna be hidden forever. No, not with Blackjack nose ass snooping around. Well, you can't hide nothing from Blackjack. Blackjack be watching, y'all. Look at that one. Look at that one, y'all. That one all colorful, right? Show y'all some more. Let me go back down. The original Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Show y'all the original Negroes, not the new. Look at this one, y'all. Brazil. It's in like 1821. Look at these Nagas in Brazil, feather in his hat. Look at these niggas, man. Brazil, my niggas, American Indians, my niggas. These people so goofy. They think we wasn't gonna realize. They thought we weren't gonna see our own culture, right? They thought, right? Yeah, y'all showed y'all this one before out that book, Revolted Negroes of Suriname. Hey, look at she smoking. Look at she got little nigglets. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Hold on. I'm show y'all. We about getting there to what about what the image I used for the thumbnail came from. I gotta keep strolling. Y'all know they be hiding the Naga way spot. Y'all look at this one. I'm gonna use this one on something. I ain't gonna use it. Y'all look at the masonry in the background. They want to tell you what nothing here, right? Tell you the Nagas was in they gonna tell you yeah, Nagas was slaves. Yeah, Nagas was in teepees, lying about everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what they tactic was. Just lie about it all. You know what I'm saying? Lie about it all. Keep strolling. Look at this now here. Oh, this 1888. What this was that? It's a picnic. I forgot what he said this one was at. I think this is in Brazil too. Yeah, y'all see who the general is, right? Don't get it twisted. Who the hell is that? Look at the chin master. The chin master peeking around the corner, man. Look at this, man. Look. That's the indigenous con. Alright, y'all think this is a game. I'm gonna put it up. Put it up some more. Keep going. See? Abomination. See? I keep telling y'all. Abomination, Managa. Yeah. Abomination, Managa. Bird head lady. Yeah, y'all remember that one? Ramon Pugari. That one. This one right here was in 1878. You know what I'm saying? This right here, I pulled out on another live stream. The Spanish monarch received Columbus. You know what I'm saying? In Barcelona after his first voyage. People thought it was a game. That was in 1878. Managa. Got y'all not to think y'all African and stuff. Let's pull up the one we use in the day. It's about the same. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. It was in here too, I thought. Yeah, I might have messed it up, y'all. It might not be in this one. I might have to go back on there. I ain't gonna this, but the same artist who did this, Ramon Pugari, he did the thumbnail here around the same time. You know what I'm saying? I had the image on one of my pages, but I'm not finna search for it right now. You can see it's the same artist, same art style. If you know anything about art and art style, you can see the same artists make these images from this one to this one. Same artist. So are these Maroons slaves or are they American Indians? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend. Because I got a Pan-African friend, he say these Maroons escaped slaves. But I keep telling him, nah, man, look how they dress. He won't listen to me, though. He won't listen to me. I keep telling him, look how they dress. And then on top of that, we just read that for 10, 15,000 years, American Indians, indigenous people, been living in the mountains. All over America. Nations and tribes in the mountains. They got different states and regions all over America. Nagas was in the mountains. So I'm pointing this out for a reason, because we finna go there about these Maroons, because some people saying they Africans, and I don't think they understand culture. Culture is how people was living, how they was dressed. Culture is not skin color. Culture is how people was living, how they were dressed, where were they living. All those are clues on culture and who people are. And you can't just if you just look at skin color and you run with that, you a racist and you ignorant on top of that. You're not only a racist, you ignorant. And that's even worse than being a racist, being ignorant. Being ignorant is worse than being a racist, my nigga. So let's go here. Now, since we talking about escaped slaves, we gotta ask ourselves, where was they getting the slaves from? We not gotta only ask ourselves, was these really escaped slaves? Okay, since they say they were slaves, where was they getting it from? Slavery among Native Americans in the United States includes slavery by and enslavement of Native Americans, roughly within what is currently the United States, right? And elsewhere also. Tribal territories and the slave trade ranged over present-day borders. Some Native American tribes held war captives and slaves, prior to and during European colonization. Some Native Americans were captured and sold by others. Some Native Americans were captured. Some Indians were captured and sold by other Indians into slavery. Some Native Americans were captured and sold by others into slavery to Europeans, while other Indians were captured and sold by Europeans themselves. So who are the Maroons? If the Europeans and Native Americans was capturing and enslaving Indians, all right, so if the Maroons were escaped slaves, You sure they Africans? Did they tell you they was Africans? Was they speaking African languages? Were they living like Africans? Let's investigate, Malaga. Let's just investigate. They making these claims. The Pan-Africans making these claims. They're trying to claim our people once again. And they call them Maroons Seminoles. They call them Maroons Seminoles. What's the other word? Cimarron. They like to use. So let's investigate those words too. Because they say a Seminole is a member of a North American people of the Creek Confederacy, noted for resistance in the 1800s, the Negro War, right, to encroachment on the land in Georgia and Florida. Many were resettled in Oklahoma, like Tulsa, Greenwood, all those strictly knocker towns in Tulsa, all black towns in Tulsa, right? Either the Muskogee language used the Creek. What else they say about the Seminoles? The Seminoles are a Native American people who developed in Florida in the late 18th century. Let's just go and see what Wikipedia about to say. Let's see if they call them escaped slaves. They say emerged in process of ethnogenesis from various Native American groups who settled in Spanish Florida beginning in the early 1700s, most significantly northern Muskogee Creek from what are now Georgia and Alabama. And keep in mind, the people that look like this ain't fought in no war. They calling themselves unconquered. The Negroes fought the wars, the Negro Seminoles. Old crafts and traditions were revived in Florida, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to it. Since the 20th century, the Seminole tribe of Florida has been particularly successful, blah, blah, blah. Etymology and culture. The word Seminole is almost certainly derived from the Creek word Semano. This has been variously translated as frontiersmen, outcasts, runaway, separatists, and similar words. Okay, runaway, what they mean? Runaway slave? Okay, if Seminole is a Creek word, it's not a European word, it's derived from a Creek word, Semano. What does it really mean? Does it mean runaway? Does it mean all these different things, right? Does it mean a wild one, right? Runaway, a wild one. The Creek word, look, the Creek word may possibly, they don't know, the Creek word may be derived from the Spanish word cimarron, meaning runaway or wild one. See, now they trying to say slave, Spanish word. See, it may have come from the Spanish word cimarron. So cimarron is a Spanish word. Seminole is a Creek word from Semano, right? Let's get to it. Let's keep track here. The Maroons. Maroons are descendants of Africans in the Americas and islands of the Indian Ocean who escaped from slavery and formed their own settlement. Oh, so you call them Seminoles, you call them Maroons, and you're saying runaways, you're saying this what all this mean, right? That's what you claim. Why are they called Maroons? Let's see what Maroons really mean. The Maroons were escaped slaves. They ran away from their Spanish-owned plantation when the British took the Caribbean islands from Jamaica from Spain in 1655. The word Maroons comes from the Spanish word Cimarron, which means mountaineers. Wait a minute. Cimarron mean mountaineers? I thought we just saw the Indians, the American Indians, been living in the mountains for 15,000 years, right? But these ever even African slaves that escaped? Well, these just Indians that was in the mountains. You said, oh, they look like Africans. They got to be escaped slaves. Let's take them, right? Because don't forget, American Indians enslaved each other and Europeans enslaved and sold American Indians, not Africans. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. And all of a sudden, the Maroons flee into the mountains where the Indians been living for 10 and 15,000 years, and you call them Cimarrons. And you say you claim Maroon and Cimarron. It's all associated, and you claim Cimarron. You claim Cimarron mean wild and untamed, right? Cimarron is a gender neutral term of Spanish origin meaning wild and untamed. It is the name of a county and a river in Oklahoma. Wow. Oh, it's a Cimarron. Oh, in Oklahoma. It was also the name of a group of Africans. See? Are we sure? Are we sure it's all that? Are we sure it's all that true, right? Because when I go right here, and I go to the real source of Seminole and Maroon and Cimarron, the true history tell me that Cimarron don't mean it ain't It's a Spanish word that don't come from escape slave and all this. The Cimarron and the Maroon, the word Cimarron and Maroon come from the Taino word Samara. Cimarron, Samara, Taino word calling themselves Samaro. They wasn't calling themselves no escaped slaves from Africa. They wasn't calling themselves no Maroon, Stephen Scoob in the house tribe, but they was calling themselves Samara, which meant arrow, straight as an arrow, my naga. Let's get this straight. Let's set the record straight right now. Straight as the arrow, my naga. The Samara, my naga. Taino word for Samara. Cimarron, Taino word for Samaro, meaning arrow, my naga. Not no escape slave, Maroon, Cimarron, Maroon, escape slave, similar, yeah, okay. Now the root word is Samara, my naga, a Taino word. See, people want to do this half-ass research, and they think they know everything, and they coming at the cons. Yeah, the Maroon, you thinking these escape slaves from Africa? You really think these escape slaves from Africa? You lost your mind. You lost your mind. You don't know real history. Indigenous peoples said the number between 350 and 500 million in up to 90 countries are defined as descendants of the first arrivals of earliest surviving occupants of a land. Today, they occupy perhaps as much as 22% of global land area and comprise some 5,000 distinct cultural groups, speaking 4,000 of the world's 7,000 languages, right? Indeed, Maroon is said to derive from Cimarron, itself based on an Arawakan Taino word, Samara. Hey, salute to the Taino, salute to the Arawak ancestor Managas. We don't play around with these fools, these Pan-Africans trying to claim our people, trying to claim our cultures, because they know our people was fighters. They know the so-called Maroons, the Samara, was fighting and taking it back to the mountains, and they want to claim our people. The Africans ain't fighting nobody. They trying to come over here with us. They running from their homeland trying to come to America. We ain't running nowhere. We fighting. For our spirit and our mind. We fighting for our spirit and our mind. Indeed, Maroon is said to derive from Cimarron itself, based on the Arawak Taino word Samara, meaning arrow, signifying the ongoing action of flight of an arrow. Where the Pan-Africans at? Where the Moors at? You better do your homework if you want to go against us. We own the information. You don't own it. You Pan-Africans don't own our history. We do, because you don't know our history. You better stick to the Zulu tribe. Stick to the Moors. Stick to what you think you know. Claiming our people, talking Maroons, African, this and that. Get off our job. These indigenous peoples. And let's get into it some more. Let's get into it some more, man. Let's dig into some of these Maroon tribes and see what they was doing and where they was living. Like the Maroons of Jamaica. And we're gonna prove that they was indigenous people. They better not been living and fighting in the mountains. If I find they was living and fighting in the mountains and you trying to tell me they from Africa and we just read for 10, 15,000 years, American Indians, aka American Negroes, been living and fighting in the mountains. They were never slaves at all. You colonizer, liar. You lying colonizer. Snoop Maxine Cross in the house. Tribe up. Lying. They were never slaves. You gonna believe a lion? First off, when you know they lying about history, you gonna believe a liar? Think about it. Let's take ourselves back to the 1500s. You were Samara. You living in the mountains, doing your thing, feathered up. Next thing you know, a colonizer pull up talking about you African. Talking about you a slave.
You big dummy.
And talking about get over here. You looking at him like I ain't from Africa. He told you black, you gotta be from Africa. You like, bitch, I've been in the mountains for 10,000 years. Nah, Black Jack, see right here, say they was escaped slaves from Africa. You big dumb pan goofy.
You big dummy.
You big dumb.
The Black Jack right here said, see, they was escaped slaves from Africa.
You big dumbass. You can't connect the dots on your own, fool. Jamaican Maroons descend from Africans who have freed themselves from slavery, and the colonies of Jamaica established communities of free black people in the island mountain interiors. I ain't even get one damn sentence in this shit, and you telling me these supposed to be Africans when they going straight to the mountains? like the indigenous people did from 10,000. I don't believe they escaped slaves. You went up in the mountains and you saw all them Nagas and you said these Africans. They never were slaves. They were indigenous people in the mountains. They never were slaves at all. I don't even believe the story. All this shipwreck and all this bullshit. They didn't have no damn African slaves. They are lying. They coming to conquer the land with a military force. They finding you nigglets everywhere. Nagas all in the mountains. They say, get that Naga. He's a slave from Africa all of a sudden. Lying. And I can't believe how people going for it. Damn what everybody else believe. Damn what the colonizer Frenchman descendants believe. Damn what the Spaniards descendants believe. Damn what the English descendants believe. Damn all of them, my Naga. Damn what the Africans believe, my Naga. No, my Naga. I'm talking about you Nagas. If you Nagas believe this dumbass story that your people was African slaves and escaped to the mountains and knew how to speak Taino and Arawak and all. They had feathers on. Next thing you know, man, y'all Nagas stupid, man. If you believe this shit, you Nagas been in the hood. They rolled up in the hood talking about y'all slaves. That's like, what if the colonizer rolled up on you today? Talking about, oh, you mighty black. You got to be from Africa. I'm not going from Florida.
You big dummy.
You from Africa, Black Jack. Get your ass in here. What? You take them feathers off. Bitch, I've been in Florida all my life. What the hell this stupid motherfucker talking about? This is what they saying. They been in the mountains all their life. They ancestors been. They're like, we got my grandma buried up here in this mountain. And y'all telling us we from Africa now? Lying about the whole thing. Lying, calling them Maroons, calling them escaped slaves. Lying, saying Maroon means escaped slave. Lying, Maroon stem from the root word Samara, a Taino Arawak word. Lying, descended from African slaves. Lies. Black people in the island mountains. Free Nagas live. Free black people in the islands mountains. I don't need to read no more about the Jamaican Maroons. That's enough. Let's go somewhere else. Let's see what other Maroons did it. Let's see. What about the Maroons in Suriname? The Juka tribe. Let's see how the Juka tribe was living. I already know, but let's just go there. We're gonna run them down one at a time. We finna end this conversation with any pan goofy that think they know and claiming our people. They'll stop claiming our people. If you a pan African goofy, go talk about the Zulu tribe. Go talk about the Moors. Stay off the Maroons. Stay off the Samara, my Naga. These ain't your people. These ours. Talk about the Maroons in Suriname, the Juka tribe, the Wakan people, my Naga. The Wakan, my Naga. History. Maroon people, formerly called Bush Negroes. Know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Where they was living at. I need to know where they were. All I need to know is where they were living. They better not been living in the mountains. The Juka tribe, related people, Africans, they lying already. I know they in the mountains now. Century to work, Dutch-owned colony, blah blah blah. Those who escaped fled deep into the rainforest, where they established Maroon communities along rivers in most of southeastern Suriname and parts of neighboring French Guiana, and where their culture adopted elements of Native American cultures. Yeah, right? They were indigenous peoples. All right, the large slave revolt, plantations. Let's see what happened after the slave revolt. Let's see where they went and fought at. Tribe considered 6 villages with an estimated population of 2,000. Keep going. Autonomous people. Movement has been observed as a natural one. For 1761, many Juka gradually moved southwards from Maroons district in order to protect themselves. They been out went into the mountains from the colonies and started to build camps on the Tapanahoy River, dispelling the indigenous Tino. Look at that. Hold on, look at them. Slaves who had recently fled from Armenia and Bovin Coleman was stationed near the confluence of the Tapanahoy River and the Loire River. It better not be no mountain back. It better not be no mountain back there. Let me continue. To guard against attacks. Let's continue. Trade, development, healthcare, interior war. In the late 1980s, the Surinamese interior war fought between the Surinamese National Army and the rebel group known as the Jungle Commando. All right, then the 1900s. All right, let's go to another one. We just looked at the Juka, the Wakan. Let's go to another one. They marrying with Indians. Talking about the Indians, man. Talking about marrying with Indians. You fool. I see how they dress, and I already know they Indians. Africans don't dress like this. Africans do not dress like this. I already know. French Guiana, the Netherlands, Suriname. French Guiana, Dutch Guiana. You know what I'm saying? They went back and forth. That's Suriname. Afro-Surinamese. Yeah, indigenous Nagas. Indigenous Nagas. Y'all know they said American Indians made canoes that could hold up to 300 people sometime. Out of one tree log they'll carve. What we see here. Hey, salute Ambush Predator in the house. Tribe Buck with the $20 cash out, man. I appreciate you big time, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate Ambush Predator all day. Salute Tribe Buck, Ambush Predator. Hey, Ambush Predator be sponsoring the show, man. Y'all Tribe Buck with me. Show some love, give some support like Ambush Predator. We got the cash app at the bottom of the screen. Cash.app/$ House of Con. Salute, Managa, salute. Yeah, dugout canoe, or simply a dugout boat. It's made from a hollowed out tree. Other names for this type of boat are the long boat, the log boat. Yeah, they wasn't doing this in Africa. Just American Indian stuff here. Let's look at another Maroon tribe. Let's look at Gasper Inca. What was Gasper Inca them at? They been in the mountains. Gasper Inca. They calling him a Maroon, talking about he escaped slaves from Africa, him and his tribe. These Nagas wasn't never slaves, they ain't never come from Africa at all. They were just Nagas in the mountains. Was an African who led a Maroon colony of enslaved Africans in the highlands, in the mountains near Veracruz, Mexico. In the late 19th century, Yanga was named as a national hero of Mexico. San Lorenzo de los Negros. Yeah, I know. In the mountains. Always talking about Nagas was a member of a royal family. Yeah, Anca's rebellion. According to the historian, Anca fled his enslavement in approximately 1570 and took refuge close to what is now the city of Cordoba, leading a group of Maroons, Samara, that gradually grew in number. Although there is no full knowledge of how their movement developed, by 1609 the group included over more than 500 men. Consequently, rumors of a large-scale revolt were not long in coming. In the highlands, Managa, in the mountains of Veracruz. Managa, let's see if they got some pictures of the mountains of Veracruz. Yeah, the Spanish tried to cut. The Spanish tried to tag and 16 got their ass whooped up there in the mountains. 100 fighters having some type of fire. The Spanish refused to turn and went into battle, resulting in heavy losses for both sides. The Spaniards advanced into the Maroon settlement and burned it, but the Maroons fought fiercely and were well accustomed to the surrounding terrain. They were well accustomed to the mountains because that's where their ancestors been for 10, 15,000 years. They've been up for 10, 15,000 years. The Spaniards could not achieve a conclusive victory. The resulting statement, the resulting stalemate lasted years. The Spanish agreed. Finally, the Spanish agreed to parley. Anca's terms were agreed to. They made the Spanish submit. Gasper Anca and the Anca tribe down there in San Lorenzo in the mountains of Mexico. They made the Spanish submit, Managa, and they named the town. They say this ain't no whatever the Spaniards tried to name that shit. They say, bitch, this is San Lorenzo de los Negros. Whatever y'all talking about. They say this San Lorenzo de los Negros. Naga had that machete. Where my machete at? Don't let me go get my machete. You know what I'm saying? They say he was the premier libertador de los Americas. Gasper Inca, national hero. Yup. Nagas had machetes and all, whooping ass in the mountains. And see, alright, let's see who else was fighting in the mountains. We done see Gasper Inca. We saw the Juco. We looked at in Jamaica, Granny Nanny and Cujo and them. What about Miguel de Badilla? Let's see Miguel de Badilla. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who Miguel de Badilla is, right? See, y'all don't know who Miguel. Y'all need to study, man. Y'all know who Miguel de Badilla is, Naga. You Nagas don't know who Miguel. Y'all ancestors, man. Y'all better get to know y'all ancestors. Miguel de Badilla, also known as King Miguel, Miguel the Black, and Miguel Guacamaya, a Maya Naga. You mean African? Nope. He was a Maya, Aztec Naga, was formerly enslaved in San Juan, former slave, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and reigned as king of Barilla in the modern day state of Lara, Venezuela. His incumbency began in 1552. It lasted some point between 1553 and 1555. It better not been no mountains in Venezuela. Let me see. Talking about he was escaped slave. And I ain't finna even read all this. We done read it before. He obtained the political influence and the control of the region adjacent in the Bolivia River after leading the first African rebellion. I thought Gaspar Inca led the first one. See how they tell the same story every time? These not just indigenous people. See, man, he took over the Menders. Let me see, Gaspar. Let me see, Miguel. I think Miguel was up in the mountains, man. They were fighting them in the mountains. Let me go back. What the Kingdom of Bahia, my nigga. Rebellion at the San Felipe mines. All right, they in some mines. Where they at, y'all? In the mountains, right? In a particular incident, one of the Spanish foremen that usually oversaw and abused the enslaved indigenous people, not Africans, tried to abuse Miguel by tying him prior to lashing him. However, Miguel resisted and grabbed a sword from one of the foremen and defended himself with it. In the process, Miguel escaped to the nearby jungle. From there, he employed the cover of night to stealthily approach the mines, where he began convincing the enslaved indigenous people and look, how you know it's indigenous people, because they always throw them in there. They always try to say Africans first to throw you off. Where he began to convince the enslaved Africans and niggas to flee. See how they said natives in there? They said Africans real loud, right? They said Africans loud. They said where he began convincing the enslaved Africans and the natives to flee. You know what I'm saying? And know these indigenous people, that's why they can't leave it out. That's why they can't leave it out. No, they can't never leave it. They always throw it in lowercase too. They put it in the lowercase second like a knock. What's gonna bitch that? To flee and join his effort. Man, I don't even read no more, man. I ain't read no more, man. I'm done with this one, man. Cause I don't even need no more evidence, man. This is just stupid, man. I've been living in the mountains for 10, 15,000 years. The so-called Maroons is Arawak and Taino, really for the Samara tribe. The Samara, my naga, and these nagas ain't never come from Africa. Wasn't never no slaves. They were just some nagas living in the mountains. And the white man lying ass went off. The white man and some nagas, these foreign nagas, these all skin folk ain't kinfolk nagas, lying, went right up in them damn mountains. In the tribal territory and the slave trade ranged over present-day borders, some Native American tribes held war captives as slaves prior to and during European colonization. Some Native Americans was captured and sold by the Spanish into slavery, and others sold by Europeans, while others were captured and sold by the Spanish themselves. See what I'm saying, my naga? See what I'm saying? They say American Indians were captured and sold by others into slavery to Europeans, while others were captured and sold by Europeans themselves in the late 18th and 19th century. A small number of tribes, right? I tell you, Nagas from Africa though. Nagas, he escaped. He escaped to the mountains. Get him. He black. What he doing up here in the mountains? He black. He from Africa. Get him. He got to be escaped slave. He black. Y'all better start reading through the lies, man. It's starting to be pathetic at this point because it's so easy to point out the lies. It's starting to be pathetic. It's very easy to point out the fact that indeed Maroon is said to derive from Cimarron itself, based on it's all based on the original, the origin in Arawak and Taino word Samara, my naga, meaning arrow, my naga, signifying the ongoing flight of an arrow, my naga. Stay in flight, my naga. Tribe, but we out. Peace.